Welcome to February 2015's Coffee with Manitou session part 4. We start this video with Bob Bishop asking the second poll question, how often is your database backed up to a device other than redundant servers such as replication? This question leads into Brian's next topic, best practices for backup maintenance.
Alright, so I've got the next poll question here available for you. And we'll go ahead and launch that one here, and again give you about 30 seconds or so to reply to this one. But how often is your database backed up to a device other than redundant servers? In other words, not through replication. So go ahead and select your option there. Looks like we still have a couple of them coming in, so we'll give you about 2 more seconds. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and close this poll now, and we'll share that here, and you'll see that the most common is every 24 hours, with about 55% of you at every 24 hours. So again, that has to go with the RTO and the RPO that Brian was just talking about here. For those of you who really need that data a little bit more often and can live with that recovery point being so far in the past there, looks like we do have a few of you that are in that every 12-hour range. But again, gives you a good idea here of what the Manitou best practices and common practices are. All right, we'll go ahead and turn it back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Bob. All right, so deciding that RTO versus RPO leads us really to what are the best practices as it relates to backup maintenance. So once you determine which backup plan scheme you will deploy, you want to have a rock-solid backup maintenance plan. Our recommendation with your backups is to back up to the server, back up to the network, back up to external storage such as tapes and USB drives or even cloud storage, even though it's new. Remember to replace your tapes on a regular basis. This is very, very critical. There's a lot of experiences out there that I'm sure that you've had with tapes, and sometimes your tapes might go bad. And in cases like that, when tapes get old and worn out, and that data they contain could be lost in the event of a disaster. So make sure that you're replacing your tapes on a regular basis. The next thing you want to do as well is that, okay, now we're saying back up, back up, back up, and now that we have the data backed up, have you test your backups to make sure that your backups are in proper order and those backups are okay and ready to go. Now, one of the things you can do with your backups is to test your backups on your test server. So test servers are a great source of not just testing out the new graphical user interface or changes that Boat Technologies is working on right now, but it's also a good source to use to test your backups to make sure that your backups are in full and complete order as well. Now, if you do have a test server, of course, you know that you will need a full version of SQL for your test server machine, but trust me, it is well worth not having the headache that it could cause if a backup is corrupt or unusable. So all of the best practices that are covered, or that I'm speaking of right now, this is actually covered in greater detail in our Manitou Database Administrator Certification course, or what we like to simply call MDAC. Some of you have already graduated from this course, and we thank you for investing in this very important course. But the course is usually held in the fall, but visit our website, boldgroup.com, for up-to-date course schedules offered by our professional service team. Or you can contact your Bold sales rep today in regards to that, and also if you need to set up a test server to implement these strategies that we are sharing with you today, contact your Bold sales rep for assistance. It is truly, truly worth the investment. Now let's talk about the network environment. When upgrading, you must also consider what network environment that you have as well. Do you have a LAN, which is, of course, a local area network, or do you have a WAN, which is a wide area network, or both, or a combination of whatever? Certainly, there are benefits and advantages to both environments. When you are referring to a LAN environment, those LAN connections typically operate in a local area, which is usually a small office building, typically consisting of a handful of clients connected to it, but could have upwards of 100 different clients as well. There's, several advantages of having a LAN, but one of the major advantages of the LANs are the speeds that they can reach. A LAN in most cases can operate up to 30 times faster than a WAN, the wide area network. Now, as it relates to Manitou, which is why we're mentioning this today, as it relates to Manitou upgrades, those networks that are in a LAN network environment can be updated fairly quickly since they are local. So you want to keep that in mind. So the advantages are in speed, they're in cost, they're in ease of setup to set up a LAN. Some of the disadvantages, though, it's limited to a small area. And some of us, our business requirements are a little bit more widespread than that. And that's okay. Now, when you're looking at WAN, which is the wide area network, this network connection usually occur in large environments. The WAN connections are available from city to city, from country to country, of course. However, usually further the distance, the slower the network connection will be. So these types of environments could be costly as well. And as it relates to Manitou upgrades, if you have a WAN set up, keep this in mind as it relates to speed and getting the clients updated fairly and quickly. So it has advantages as well. It can allow for a much larger and more intricate network, and it can cover near infinite geographical distance. And some of the disadvantages, of course, is cost and speed and ease of use, but just keep this in mind when you're upgrading. Just another tip from your friends here at Bold.
This concludes Part 4 of the Coffee with Manitou session from February 18, 2015. Register for next month's Coffee with Manitou session at boldgroup.com and check out any upcoming videos on our YouTube page. For more information, contact your account manager today at sales@boldgroup.com.